Well, let's now get more on our top story on Alexei Navalny. Joining me now from Bath is Bharat Pankania. He's a senior clinical lecturer at the University of Exeter Medical School. Bharat, great to have you back with us. Thanks for your time. I do want to start with what we've been hearing from the Germans, that they have unequivocal proof that Navalny was poisoned. I know that there was that delay in him being airlifted out of Siberia. His wife was suggesting that maybe because there was a desire to wait for toxins to dissipate from his system. How unequivocal can evidence be here?
Well, I have faith in the people who are able to say in Germany that we have evidence of Novichok. Having said that, my advice would be, even if you look at the signs and symptoms and the way Mr. Navalny became ill, it clearly indicated that there was an event that happened to him suddenly and then sudden collapse. So also on the basis of signs, symptoms, and the presentation of the case, you would say this is an acute poisoning event. What I'm concerned about is if it is shown that this was Novichok, what about the contacts of Mr. Navalny himself? Because there may be other people who have also been exposed to the same agent who may have been in his own group.
Right. Well, so I want to ask you more about how that works. If this is a toxin from the Novichok family, these are nerve agents that are potentially even more toxic than sarin, for instance. Just how do they work when they interact with the human system?
Oh, the way they work is they're what we call a group of anticholinergic agents. And what it is, it basically disrupts nervous neural transmission. So what happens is your muscles stop working, your temperature control systems stop working, it may affect your breathing, it may affect your central nervous system. So basically what happens is nerve agents block certain receptors, and having blocked them, the consequences are whatever that a nerve receptor was supposed to do. And essentially the patient goes into lockdown. You know, they are probably unable to breathe properly, unaided. Their other temperature regulation systems stop working. They may start to have epileptic fits. And those are the broad range of signs and symptoms. Of course, it will also have a direct toxic effect on the liver, the kidneys, and the heart. That's
quite the hefty list of effects there. Navalny right now remains alive. He's in hospital. What kind of long-term damage could he be looking at?
It depends very much on what preventative measures were instituted when he became ill, and also, of course, on the dose. So the greater the dose, the greater the danger. The greater the delay in implementing support systems, the greater the organ damage. So time is critical and dose is critical. And we hope that he will make a good recovery. We hope he will have a recovery without any long-term damage to other organs. Only time will tell us.
Well, these nerve agents were developed by the Soviet Union back in the 70s and 80s, and I know knowledge of them is very highly restricted. Does that then narrow down who would have access to or the ability to produce them?
Well, it's well known in the intelligence community that despite regulations and international agreements, nations were developing these agents. And we know that the Soviet Union, as it was breaking up, did have supplies of these, what we would call potent nerve agents. But that is not to say that other states don't also have access to these potent nerve agents. We should never just blame one area. We know that many states have also got access to nerve agents.
Well, I know the Russians said they tested Navalny for poison when he was in Siberia, and they insisted that all those tests were negative. With an agent like this, is that possible?
Depends on how hard you want to look and how hard you actually look. It's as straightforward as that. If you look hard enough and you look hard enough with an inquisitive nature, you will find evidence. So in terms of looking for evidence, you can look for, do I find the presence of an intact Novichok-like substance, or do I look for breakdown products of a nerve agent? And you can look for both. And in fact, you should not only look for both, you should look for a big what you would call a battery of agents, so that you pick up not only one, but you pick up other substances and get a better, more clearer, more precise picture. That is what any forensic scientist would do, look for a battery of chemicals, not only one.
Well, there are demands for an investigation now. Bharat Pankania there from the University of Exeter Medical School. Thanks for being with us again. It was great to get your insights here on Al Jazeera.
Thank you.